Jesus believes that obedience strengthens faith, and throughout his ministry he showed that faith is not only something we feel in our hearts, but something we live out with our actions. For Jesus, obedience is not about following rules blindly, nor is it about earning God's approval. Instead, obedience is the pathway that deepens trust in God, sharpens spiritual vision, and opens the door to greater experiences of his power. When you obey what God asks, whether it is forgiving someone, stepping into a new calling, letting go of fear, or choosing righteousness, you are actively declaring that you trust his wisdom more than your own understanding. That simple act of surrender becomes the seed that grows your faith stronger. Jesus consistently taught that obedience and faith are connected. When he told the man with the withered hand to stretch it out, the man obeyed through that obedience. He experienced healing. When he instructed Peter to cast his net on the other side of the boat, Peter obeyed despite his exhaustion and doubts, and the miraculous catch strengthened his faith. When he sent the 10 lepers to show themselves to the priests, they obeyed even before they were healed, and as they walked, their faith-filled obedience brought restoration. Each story reveals the same truth. Obedience activates the work of God in ways that passive belief never could. Jesus himself demonstrated perfect obedience to the Father, not because it was easy, but because he trusted completely. His obedience in prayer, in compassion, in sacrifice, and even in suffering became the foundation of his unshakable faith. He showed that every step of obedience builds spiritual strength, just like repeated exercise builds physical muscle. By choosing to obey, Jesus invites us into a life where faith is not fragile or uncertain, but firm and growing. Obedience strengthens faith because it teaches dependence. It reminds you that God's ways are higher, that his commands lead to life, and that his instructions protect you from paths that destroy. It stretches you beyond fear and into courage, beyond comfort and into purpose. Each time you obey, you experience God's faithfulness in a fresh way, and your trust in him deepens. Through his words and example, Jesus calls you to live a faith that moves not, a faith that stays still. He knows that your faith grows stronger with every step of obedience, and that every yes to God builds a foundation that cannot be shaken.